most distinguished executive board, honorable chairs and delegates, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. Welcome to the official closing ceremony of MUNOL 2021. The past 5 days have been very exciting for all of us. For some, it was actively participating in the debates and trying to think of innovative attempts to solve politically explosive issues, while for others, it was about taking photos, filming, and ensuring the smooth running of this year's conference. Before starting with some speeches, let us first look back on 5 days of MUNOL 2021. Enjoy.
Obviously different because of Corona and all the people from other countries were missing, and I think you could really feel that because obviously there are less people, but it has a good side on the other hand because the committees are smaller and you get to know the people like very intimate and you have a closer connection to each delegate and just get to know them more individually. I believe every one of us knows that MUNOL this year is different because of COVID, but the only thing I'm missing are all those people driving to school in those formal dresses because it looks like really cool. But I also saw a chance in this year because I could meet new people from our school, which I've never talked to, and I think that's a great opportunity to also get to know the people at our school better, so yeah.
After this conference, I can say confidently that MUNOL is in good hands. MUNOL has a bright future with a lot of very good delegates.
We are looking forward to MUNOL 2022.
Thank you very much, the film team, for this wonderful depiction of the great days we had. For me personally, MUNOL is about meeting new people of my age group and debating with them. It is about finding possible solutions to international issues and questions, and to realize that often it is important to find compromises. In the classroom, we learn from our teachers. At the MUNs, we actually learn from each other. Conferences like MUNOL do not replace the classroom, but rather complement it. MUNs often help us in questioning and critically reviewing our own opinion and point of view. And that is what I personally love about MUNs, especially MUNOL. In this era of globalization, learning about the world is more important than ever, no matter what field or profession we later choose. We later enter. We will interact with people from different countries and diverse backgrounds. Problems taking place around the globe impact our society, our lives, our countries, our nations. As Ban Ki-moon, former United Nations Secretary General, once said, quote, "You are here to step into the shoes of UN ambassadors. Your goal may be to resolve a conflict, to cope with a natural disaster, or to bring nations together on an issue. You may be playing a role, but you are also preparing for life. You're acting as global citizens," unquote. Do act as global citizens. We are the leaders of tomorrow, policymakers of tomorrow. Thus, let us expand our knowledge about global issues today, because our opinion and voice may contribute to solving the problems that will affect our planet. After having attended about 14 MUNs, including 5 MUNOL conferences, this year's conference is going to be the last one for me. I will definitely miss the MUNOL spirit, but I'm relieved because I know that all of you will continue to spread the spirit, participate, and take the chance to shape our future. I wish to thank all MUN directors, delegates, chairs, my parents, my sisters, everyone who supported me by criticizing and thus helping me to get better and improve, but also all of you who have been encouraging me to get better and improve. I had never imagined that a day would come when I will be the president of the General Assembly at MUNOL. Thank you for all your moral support and encouragement. I really appreciate it. Now, there will be some speeches by the committee chairs. There will also be the awards. First of all, I would like to call upon the chairs of a forum that not only talked about human trafficking and racial discrimination, but also extremist ideologies on the internet. So please welcome the chairs of the third committee of the General Assembly.
Most distinguished executive board, honorable chairs, dear guests. As the chairs of this year's Humanitarian, Social and Cultural Committee, we'd first of all like to thank all delegates and our appreciated ed staff for making the MUNOL conference such a memorable and exciting week. But I'm also extremely grateful that I had you, dear PGA, by my side as a helping hand. And thus I think I speak for everyone when I say we're all so sad that this is your last MUN. But maybe next year, we'll see you sitting in the back of the committees alongside with all the other guests. But this year as chairs, we can say that despite the given circumstances, it was truly a pleasure to spend our time debating NGA 3. It was a perfect mixture of fun and productivity, the ability to laugh with and definitely about each other, but also sticking together and caring about the others. Everyone contributed to the debates multiple times, even at some part our lovely ed staff. The gossip and punishment boxes were always filled, and during this week we saw the PGA pantomiming and imitating a tiger very authentically and had one or another dance battle.
Thank you, Pavel, for also being such a great co-chair. But despite all these funny moments and memories, we are honored to be part of such a conference, which introduces young people like us to discussions in politics and the importance of sticking to opinion, but also listening to other parties and maybe even adapting their view. Everyone was motivated and gave their best during the week. Therefore, we are especially proud to announce our two most distinguished delegates, China and Human Rights Watch. Although everyone in our committee participated as well in quantity as well as in quality, these two stood out, particularly since it was their very first MUN. China's amendments were always constructive and brought the whole debate forward, whereas Human Rights Watch interest led to a flow of seemingly never-ending critical points of information. This enabled the committee to rethink their opinion.
But still, there was one delegate who, in our opinion, really showed ambition as well in amendments as in speeches. Someone who always participated excessively, even when the debate was running slower. And that's why we think the award for the outstanding delegate truly goes to the delegation of the United States. We are feeling so blessed to have been part of this week, and thank you all for making this year's conference so special, and we hope to see you all again next year. We yield the floor back to the PGA.
Thank you. Now, I would like to request the chairs of a forum whose mission is to promote and protect human rights around the world to come onto the stage. Please welcome the presidents of the Human Rights Council, Till and Johannes. You now have the floor.
Thank you, PGA. Your Excellencies, Secretaries General, distinguished conference managers, honored financial manager, distinguished PGA, dear executive team, fellow chairs, dear guests, and everyone else involved at this superb conference. Thank you very much for this unique and marvelous experience. For me, it was the last time at MUNOL, and it was a very special one. MUNOL is always a wonderful week, and I was devastated when I was told that it had to be cancelled last year. I'm glad that it actually took place, and then even in presence. I want to thank everyone who participated and contributed his part for the MUNOL community so that it could be the event we all value and love so much. I don't think that I could have wished for a chairing partner so dedicated and pleasant to work with as you, Johannes. I could totally rely on you every second, and I hope that you felt the same way with me. As we witnessed, the entire atmosphere at the conference was based on this kind of trust. Not only in our council, but also in the executive board, which defines the spirit of events like that. Also, I would like to thank my personal friend, Til Sobotka, for inspiring me to work as hard as I did in order to succeed as a chairman. At the end of my part of the speech, I would like to express my appreciation for the delegates of the Human Rights Council, who always showed productive and were engaged at any time, although many of them had no to little experience at all. All of you convinced with your tremendous understanding of the debate and the United Nations. Both of us, Johannes and me, were amazed by that.
Yes. As the president of the Human Rights Council, unfortunately, is not going to be able to participate in any more MUNOL sessions, and this was my very first MUNOL session, we want to express our excitement about this bombastic chair experience, since we made a great team, at least from our perspective. Personally, I believe that this week could not have gone better regarding our complicated situation. Unfortunately, we had the COVID-19 pandemic restricting us and killing all hopes for a normal conference. But nevertheless, I suppose I talk for me and Till, and hopefully for all of you, we are heavily surprised by the experiences we all could make, since this MUN was like no other. Of course, we would have loved to experience a MUN with international students from all over the world, from Rome, Italy, from Spain, in every other nation involved in the United Nations. But however, it was still a pleasure that we could contribute our part of making this conference the best it could be. At this point, much appreciation goes to the conference managers, the secretaries general, the PGA, and the whole executive team, not forgetting our approval panels managed by Mr. Großmann, Mrs. Hohenfeld, and Mrs. Petzold. But at least, as important as the organization teams, we must not forget our fellow delegates. Without your attitude towards participating in the debate, even though many of you did that for the first time, we had very productive debates. Furthermore, which may even be more important, we had a lot of fun being your chairs and simulating the Human Rights Council as if it was the real one. But now that the conference is coming to an end, we still want to give two important shout-outs. First, we would like to thank our ads of Mark with his insane drawing skills. And then we have our very dear kiosk staffs who carried the whole conference with their coffee and MUNOL energy drinks. Big thanks to all of you who made this MUN possible, no matter from which position.
We also have to award our distinguished and most outstanding delegates. In the course of the debate, there were 3 delegates who were really standing out and impressed the whole committee with their astonishing speeches and productive amendments. The delegate who was always active in debate and for whom we had to extend our list of the delegates' participation is the delegate of Germany, and she therefore deserves the award of the most outstanding delegate. All the time battling in the debate with the other delegates and almost as active as Germany have been the delegate of Iran and Brazil, who have earned the awards for the distinguished delegates. These fascinating performances are not supposed to downgrade those of the others of you, and we preferably would have given all of you awards. But we therefore thank you for the productive debates. We yield the floor back to the PGA.
So yielded.
Thanks a lot, chairs, for your efforts. It is a matter of common knowledge that in their commission they had the best environment. Please give a nice round of applause for the presidents of the Environment Commission, Lasse and Konstantin. You now have the floor.
Thank you very much. Most Honorable President of the GA,
highly distinguished Secretaries General,
dear student officers, MUN directors, and fellow guests,
executive team and staff, and most importantly, fellow delegates and MUNOL participants.
we feel highly honored to be allowed to have our word in this closing ceremony. This year, it really was not a matter of course to participate at the MUNOL conference. After the cancellation of last year's conference, we really were concerned about MUNOL 2021. We hope for the best and thus try to give our best in the preparation for our committee. Thankfully, it was worth it. We finally got the news that MUNOL would take place, and even though we mainly had to keep the conference national, we did not hesitate and to make it an unforgettable memory.
At the beginning of the conference, we had a lot of worries and doubted that the lobbying and debating process would take place as smoothly and fruitfully as in the past years. Just like in most committees, there were nearly exclusively first-timers present in our debates, and especially the first day was not easy for all delegations, since some had to learn the complicated procedures of a formal debate from scratch. Nevertheless, we were strongly impressed by how fast all our hardworking delegates have accomplished to create constructive resolutions and amendments and deliver incredible speeches. The participation in our committee has risen constantly over the week, and we are proud to say that every delegate has held multiple speeches and shown their engagement in MUNOL and its debates. Every single delegate has grown beyond themselves, and it all started with a debate of timidity in which nobody raised a placard and resulted in a heated ad hoc debate where all the delegates shouted at each other. This makes us, as the presidency of the Environment Commission, very proud.
Yes, choosing the Delegates Awards was not very easy for us. although nearly all delegates engaged equally well, we want to name first of all 2 delegates that deserve our attention. First of all, for the first honorable mention, we would like to choose the delegate of Brazil. Especially in the last 2 days of the conference, she was one of the most frequent participants, and she was extremely educated and prepared concerning the rules of procedure and the overall process, which is also why she got all the answers correctly in our little Kahoot quiz. Most importantly, she was strongly defending her opinion while still cooperating with other nations.
The second honorable mention is dedicated to the distinguished delegate of the United States of America. He always was ready to deliver an interesting speech and constantly challenged the speakers with his points of information. With more than 17 amendments in the last 2 days, this delegate has always brought forward new ideas and aspects and hence contributed immensely to the interestingness of the debate.
The best delegate of our committee, which will receive the award for the most outstanding delegate, is the delegate of France. With both high quality and quantity of amendments, points or motions, and speeches, this delegate has convinced us and made us very proud chairs of this great committee. If we had not known, we would have never expected this MUNOL conference to be his very, very first MUN ever. This legitimately also brought him the award of being most likely to become a politician in our committee.
Due to the pandemic, the organization of this year's conference was put onto another level. Thus, it would be uncalled for if we did not show our gratitude to all the amazing people that were courageous enough to face the enormous problems and, of course, the intelligible concerns to MUNOL 2021. We would like to say thank you to the administrative staff and all the arounders,
The photo and film staff,
the press staff,
the IT staff,
the kiosk and kitchen staff,
the school management,
the MUN directors and the approval panel,
the secretariat,
our lovely student officer team,
and finally our conference managers, secretaries general, and our financial manager. It was only due to the ambition of these people that this conference was such a success and that we all could experience the MUNOL spirit together again. Last but not least, we are really looking forward to participating in the next year's conference and welcoming international guests as well.
We now yield the floor back to the President of the General Assembly.
Thanks a lot for making this year's conference so special. Next up, I would like to welcome the presidency of a forum, which is one of the 6 principal organs of the United Nations. Please put your hands together for the presidency of the Security Council, Anifia and Ben. You now have the floor.
Your Excellency, Secretaries General, dear President of the General Assembly, hardworking conference managers and financial manager, fellow chairs, MUN directors, and by now very tired delegates and staff. It was my honor to be the Vice President of the Security Council at this year's MUNOL conference. We in the Security Council had important issues and very high-quality debates. I believe we all learned from each other. We now know that we deliver or give a speech and don't hold one. We have answered the age-old question, which delegate is better at dancing, UK or the US? We know that some delegates prefer to get punished rather than putting on shoes that don't match their outfit. Speaking of outfits, there were stylish fedoras, matching socks and ties, and very handsome suits. MUNOL 2021 was my first ever chairing experience, and I'm very thankful for all the amazing memories you have given me. We all make some mistakes, especially as chairs. We forget to set debating time or don't know every motion by heart. Thank you so much for being so kind and benevolent with us. As all MUNOL participants can agree, MUNOL is a very demanding but happy time. By the end of every conference, everyone is tired. Therefore, we would like to give a special thanks to the fuel which supplied us with our energy, the free coffee in the kiosk. Thank you so much. This year, we had the privilege of having many first-time delegates in our council. Therefore, my president and I have had the opportunity to give some delegates at MUN they will never forget, their first one. We hope we have given all delegates, but especially our first-timers, a wonderful MUNOL, and maybe we will see some delegates in our place next year.
Well, thank you so much, especially Ben. You were amazing to have as a vice president, and I am grateful for everything you did. You were amazing, and I could not have had a better co-chair. So. And also, thanks to you. Thank you for having us, and thank you for this year's conference. As most of you know, I've been delighted to be the president of the Security Council this week, and what job it has been. From having so many amendments that we couldn't keep up, to the creation of a crisis, which was about a current issue. And well, I've always had something to do and something to look forward to. It has clearly been a pleasure. The whole week has been quite the mess, but also a great one. We've had great debates, we've had great punishments, and well, also great gossip. Our delegates were very, very creative in that way. Most of the amendments were very well done, and the crisis seemed to be entertaining for most of our delegates, even though it really escalated in the end. If I may quote the word from my dear vice president, it made kaboom. Our committee has been a lot of fun to chair, and not only in those moments. We've also had a lot of fun not in the debating time, which basically, we've basically had the tradition of France getting punished. And I believe we've had a lot of fun, especially with the punishments, since we were actually establishing a lot of those. And just to clarify, while some delegates might have thought that my desktop wallpaper was quite depressing, our time this week has definitely not been so. So I would really want to thank everyone for that. As some of you might know, this will be my last MUNOL, since I will be graduating this year. I am quite sad about that. However, I am excited that I plan on being in the getting involved in MUNOL in the future, maybe with the association. You've made it quite memorable, my last MUNOL ever. I had an amazing time, and I loved the week as a whole. So I really want to thank everyone for that. So, thank you, Ben. Thank you, delegates. You were amazing. Thank you, ad staff, that worked hard throughout the whole week and supported us in very many ways. And not to forget, thank you, our Secretary General, and the whole team who made this year's MUNOL possible. Having said that, I believe especially the delegates are waiting for one certain award, for event, the awards. We've had quite the amazing delegates, as said before, this week, but a few actually shone out. With our first distinguished delegate, he was actually referred to by the committee as the daddy of all the delegates, with a reason. He was always there to support them, not only financially, which, a daddy does, but also in ways in the debate and also with amendments. So, our first distinguished delegate goes to the United States of America. Our second award in the distinguished section belongs to another person. She has made the conference quite entertaining, gave out a lot of amazing amendments, and was always there for other delegates as well. She proposed many amendments overall, and some to the second degree, held amazing speeches, and knew the topics well. We could see her research. So, our second distinguished award goes to the delegate of China. Although the choice has been quite hard, especially between the second distinguished delegate and the best delegate. We now do also have a best delegate in our committee. He especially convinced us in the last day with being quite active during our crisis and during the debate overall. So please, give a well round of applause for the delegate of the United Kingdom for getting best delegate. So, thank you delegates, especially for this week. We've had a lot of fun, it was a blast. You were amazing, we loved every minute of it, except some small issues that might have come up. But overall, it was very entertaining, and I was glad to be the president of the securities of this year's MUNOL conference. Thank you.
We yield the floor back to the President of the General Assembly.
Thank you, Anifia and Ben, for shaping MUNOL 2021. Last but not the least, I would like to ask the presidency of a forum which was the most international of MUNOL this year, as the debates were held online, to take the floor. Let us warmly welcome the presidency of the Economic and Social Council, Yannis, Magnus and Malik. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. Most Honorable President of the General Assembly, highly distinguished Executive Board, honorable chairs, fellow delegates, hardworking staff, and dear guests. 2 months ago, I got the honor of being offered the position of the President of the Economic and Social Council, which was the only online committee of MUNOL 2021. And being honest, at first, I was quite skeptical when receiving the info of chairing my first ever committee online. I was worried about issues we might face, especially in technical means. But also, I was worried about the participants. How will delegates get along with the technique? And I was worried about the personal aspect of MUNOL, which is normally quite important, being gone. But I accepted the challenge and looked forward to experience a new way of debating procedures, saw it as an opportunity to keep the internationality in these difficult times of the pandemic alive. And as a result, I stand here at the end and proudly look back to a successful conference, not only content-wise. I also gained much experience regarding a different kind of debating procedures, and I think we can proudly say that we did the best job of all committees in following the hygiene rules concerning the social distance. Next up, I would like to express my utmost gratitude to the Executive Board and especially the IT team who have worked so hard on the brilliant organization of this year's conference. We almost had no technical issues and the program worked flawless. I would also express a big praise to the delegates. Everyone spoke at least once, even though half of the delegates were first-timers. We had a very high participate, and although it was not as personal as it would normally be, we kept the limitations by being online to an absolute minimum. Even though it was not easy, we made the best out of it, and I would also like to really thank my Vice President, Magnus and Malik, who can sadly not attend this year's closings, being sick, with whom I worked in a functioning team guiding this year's Economic and Social Council. So, thank you for the fruitful debate, and I would like to one last time yield the floor to my Vice President, Magnus.
Thank you, Yannis. I would like to give you a little overview of how our debate went. First of all, we started with lobbying, and as Yannis stated, we were a little bit worried on how productive it will be since everybody will be online and would be quite unpersonal. However, it was not the case at all like that. Everybody had the cameras on and we had very elaborate debates, even kind of mimicking the Security Council, where one delegate tried to moderate the debate like a chair a bit, for almost 110 minutes for just one OC. Then, in the debates, we were super impressed. We had really elaborate amendments, which were sometimes difficult to get into the resolution editor, very well-structured speech, and also very difficult POIs, which gladly didn't provoke a nuclear war between Russia and the USA. Again, we would like to express our gratitude for the tech staff and the sections, which were always at our side when we had issues, so everything ran smoothly. There were no flaws at all, except for one incident in the chairing department where we might have issues with some ripped pants of a suit. However, it still was really fun, and especially for my last MUN, it was a great experience, especially having the most international committee. I hope especially the delegates and everyone participating in the council had as much fun as I had, and with that I would like to give the word back to Yannis announcing the awards.
Thank you very much. We had a very hard time deciding. As I already stated, there was a quite high participants in this year's Economic and Social Council. But however, we have come to the decision of the most outstanding delegates being the World Trade Organization, having participated the session with both quantity and especially high quality contributions, and also guiding the lobbying process. So yeah, thank you very much. We would also like to thank the two distinguished delegates, Russia and Germany, who have provided us with two really productive and constructive resolutions and constructive amendments. Having some issues yesterday, we would also like to express an honorable mention to the fellow delegate of the United States of America, who stood out with over 30 points of information and over 20 speeches. So thank you, and especially speaking to the international guests. I think I can speak for all of us, hope to welcome you at next year's MUNOL session, hopefully in presence. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your effort. During all the past conferences, there have been two ladies who have been continuously supporting us in organizing MUNOL. Please give a warm hand to the heads of approval panel, Mrs. Petzold and Mrs. Hohenfeld.
Honorable PGA, most distinguished conference managers, secretaries general, financial manager, honorable chairs and delegates, hardworking ad staff, dear guests, and MUN directors. This year's conference was different. There is no doubt about that. Wear a mask. Take a test. Keep your distance. Usually the motto is, take a coffee, wear some smart dress, and keep in touch with friends after the conference. And yet, we all obeyed to these rules, didn't we?
Yes, we did, because we had no choice. But what else was different for us MUN directors? Most of our colleagues and friends from other countries and schools could not attend the conference in person. The hours we spent in the approval panel were not as interesting and as entertaining as they are usually. We mainly focused on correcting resolutions. In the evenings, we sat at home instead of meeting the other MUN directors, having a meal, sharing good stories. No get-togethers at different places, no party at Winnie's house. Sounds as if we had a hard time at the conference. Did we enjoy it?
Now you're waiting for the answer. Yes, we did, of course. And this is because of you, the students, because of you, the young people. This is why we enjoy the conference. You all put so much effort into this conference, be it the ad stuff, for example, the IT stuff, or all the others, be it the delegates, and above all, be it the management, who worked, all those people worked for a year to make this conference possible. Due to the circumstances, you constantly had to keep in mind special restrictions. And yet, you always made proof of a very positive attitude. Be proud of yourselves. You all did a great job. Without you, there wouldn't have been any conference this year. And there will be no future conferences without you.
Yes, definitely. I think all the MUN directors do agree on this. We need you. This year, we are all united in the fight against the virus. Next year, we will all be united at our school to debate, to work, and to celebrate. So, here's a message to all of our dear friends in Italy, in Sweden, in the Netherlands, in Turkey, in Romania, in Estonia, in Poland, in Denmark, and all the other places who have joined us.
We missed you. We miss you all, and we hope to see you for MUNOL 2022. We yield the floor back to the PGA.
We have a small token of our appreciation here for you, Mrs. Petzold and Mrs. Hohenfeld. Thank you. Thank you for your speech, effort, and time that you both, as well as Herr Großmann and all the other MUN directors, have put into this year's conference. Now, it is my pleasure to invite the financial manager of MUNOL, who always took care of the finances and hence helped in making MUNOL this year possible. Lara, please take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Honorable fellow executives, esteemed MUN directors, distinguished delegates, and, last but not least, welcome, dear guests. The week is over now. That means MUNOL 2021 will end today. But really, we can't call it that, can we? Because MUNOL will continue next year, and the year after that, and hopefully for many more years to come. Organizing this conference has been a challenge. A welcome one, but a challenge nevertheless. As a team, we have grown together over the last year and have hopefully managed to compose a fun and as close to normal as possible week for you. This MUNOL has been special. Not only because of the pandemic, but also because all of us have made it special. We've made it our own conference, our very own MUNOL 2021. So yes, it has been a little different, but we made it work. That's why I need to thank you. Without, for example, the staffs, or the other executives, or the IT team, or everyone else, none of this would have been achievable. Also, another big thank you to Mrs. Hohenfeld and Mrs. Petzold, because without their help, we are very grateful and thankful, and because without their help, we wouldn't have been able to achieve that we have achieved this year. I also need to thank my family, because if they hadn't helped me keep organized, then probably none of this would have happened. Furthermore, I want to thank all of those of you who donated to the donation box and to Lisha over the week. We have managed to raise about exactly 222 euros and 22 cents. As one of my last tasks as the financial manager of MUNOL 2021, I will be transferring that money over to the NGO in Nepal in the next few days. It's been a pleasure. With this, I will keep myself short, and so I yield the floor back to the presidency of the General Assembly.
Thank you very much, Lara, for being so dedicated. The conference managers of this year took a lot of responsibility. They had been busy, not only during this week, but also prior to it. Let us acknowledge their accomplishments with a nice round of applause. Lena and Raul, please come up to the podium.
Honorable PGA, esteemed executive team and student officers, lovely MUN directors, and dear guests. What a unique week of MUNOL this was. We are happy that everything went well, and we hope that you have enjoyed this year's conference. We are proud of what we've been going through. This year was really special, and things were really difficult for us to manage. Memories were made when the rain masses crashed our pavilion and the around us got soaked in water while trying to secure your lunch area. Or the MUNOL energy drinks that first arrived on Thursday, and also a lot of coffee was spilled, but everyone needed that extra kick of caffeine. These incidents, however, didn't ruin the MUNOL spirit. Lene, I'm thankful that I had you by my side this whole time. We worked together as a team and had lots of fun. I had lots of fun watching especially young delegates this year. I like how much you're interested in MUNOL and hope that this will continue. There was one day where I was walking through the committees and listened to the debates, and I was impressed of the people. Everyone did an amazing job. Also, a thing that was amazing this week was me riding the scooter. Maybe you saw me at the hallway. I personally want to thank the executive board, Carlo, Torben, Lara, and Lene. I know it wasn't always easy with me because of this year's handball German championship, but I hope that I was tolerable. Thank you. With this being said, I give the word to you, Lene.
Thank you, Raul. Every year, I'm surprised how fast time can go by. When a week of MUNOL feels like a few days, and a year of preparation feels like a few months, you know how much you have enjoyed it the whole time. And of course, you would love to wish for more time, but if you could, I'm sure you would not enjoy it as much as before. We are incredibly lucky to have MUNOL yearly. It's an experience you just never get tired of. There are certainly times that were stressful for me, but when I look back, I would never regret what I did as a conference manager, and also what we did as a team. Raul, Lara, Torben, and Carlo. We achieved our goal. We made MUNOL 2021 possible. Looking back at all the times I have participated in MUNOL, I am definitely sad that next year will be my last conference as a student at the Thomas Mann School. It won't stop me from supporting MUNOL, but I am sure I speak for all former students that participated in MUNOL when I say that it's just something you can't compare. I remember my first time as a delegate at MUNOL, too shy to deliver a speech because I was afraid to say something incorrect. And now I'm standing here to tell everyone how it was like to be part of the organizing team of the conference. You're not the same individual you were years ago, a month ago, nor a week ago. You're always growing and experience don't stop. That's simply life. Just go with it. Before Raul and I come to our acknowledgments, I would like to speak out my appreciation to my family, giving advice, calming me down, and simply just driving me wherever I needed to be was definitely a huge help for me. Additionally, I would definitely point out our teachers, Mrs. Hohenfeld and Mrs. Petzold, and also the MUNOL Association Board. They always kept track of our organization, helping us out when we were behind in our time plan, staying in contact with us, and also sharing their experience for us to improve even more. Who also grew with their experience was the executive team. It is because of them that everything turned out well. That's why we want to thank the whole executive team for helping us from the start on. They supported us with many things, and without them, the conference wouldn't have been that great. It was very fun working with you all because everyone wanted to make the conference as best as possible.
Especially the IT and film needs our special thanks. You have worked together a lot this year. People probably don't realize what hard work you all have done. Staying in school until 10 p.m. to get every final video cut. During the MUNOL news or having the extra challenge this year, because of the online part of the conference, you couldn't have done it better. So please give a hand for Bjarne, Lukas, Lennart, and Lukas.
Also, the press, photo, and PIOs thought about how to present MUNOL the best they could. The press worked really hard to publish a MUNOL magazine on time, doing interviews and writing articles. The heads of photo catch a lot of lovely memories of the conference, and the PIOs took care of our social media, improving our reputation around the world. Please give a hand for Finn, Jessica, Lily, Isabel, and Eli.
Next, we want to give an applause to the heads of school management, Jakob and Lea, for coordinating the arounders and ad staffs, and particularly this year for coordinating all the COVID tests. Thank you.
Please also give a hand for our heads of secretariat, Mert, Isa, and Mila, for handling the badges, printing in general, although the printer caused some problems, like always.
And we can't forget our kiosk and kitchen team, Hannah, Rike, and Anna, supplying us with delicious food and drinks. Most importantly, the lunch, waffles, sandwiches, and most importantly, the coffee. Thank you.
We are proud to say that we have had awesome people around us the whole time, and are very sad this conference has now almost come to its end. Nevertheless, we yield the floor back to the PGA. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We really appreciate your efforts, Lene and Raul. And thanks also due to the whole executive team and staff from me. For the last speakers of today, I would like to call upon the Secretaries General of MUNOL 2021, who have been working constantly for the past whole year. Please welcome them warmly. Carlo and Torben, you now have the floor.
Most honored President of the General Assembly, fellow other members of the Executive Board, distinguished delegates and student officers, executive team, and staff. How else could we start the speech than by saying thank you? Thank you to our school, and especially Mr. Rota, our principal, and Mr. Krake, who gave us this school as a location. Having mentioned our school, we obviously have to thank our MUN directors, Mrs. Petzold and Mrs. Hohenfeld, who sat down with us week after week to ask us how they could help us with MUNOL. Furthermore, we are grateful to the MUNOL Association, whose back we always had regarding every question. It was truly incredible how fast you answered. Thank you to the executive team and their staff, which made the whole organization possible and worked day and night to ensure that the MUNOL magazine was great, the food was tasty, the films were exciting, and all the things concerning public relations, printing, and IT worked. Thank you as well to our partners in crime, the Executive Board, to Lene and Raul, who worked with the schools and the executive team to organize the conference. Thanks to Lara, who provided us with the necessary funds, and thank you to my closest buddy, Carlo, who I not only worked with, but had so much fun with. We would also like to thank our guest speaker, Professor Dr. Beer. We are aware that you're a very busy woman, and therefore we are even more grateful for your well-prepared speech and your general precipitation at MUNOL 2021.
Thank you, Torben. This conference will be our last MUN and our last MUNOL conference. And to be honest, all of you couldn't have made it a better experience. to all delegates and chairs, we can confidently say that you did not only meet, but exceeded our expectations. When we were planning this conference throughout the year, you can imagine how worried we were, and one of our biggest concerns was that since many of you would be too shy or anxious to create an exciting and fruitful debate. Well, let me tell you, if there's anything that wasn't a problem, it was you being shy. Your constant, active, well-prepared participation couldn't have been more gratifying. After one cancelled conference, I can now finally and confidently say, MUNOL has a bright future, and that future is you. This is now your ship to sail. Now it is your turn to carry the MUNOL spirit onwards. I want all of you to know that this conference will always be what you make of it. Be bold, be creative, and make MUNOL your own. We don't just want, but need your ideas and enthusiasm. And if you stay true to what you did this week, then MUNOL will be one of the most amazing, exciting, and fun experiences you can have.
Lastly, we have to thank those without whom the conference would not have happened, our chair team and the delegates, who had wonderful debates. Thank you to all of you for your great work. MUNOL 2021 would not have been MUNOL 2021 without you. After all the gratitude, I want to say something about this year's conference. As you all know by now, our conference theme was different identities, dividing or uniting. And as mentioned in our opening speech, the cooperation on an equal level, especially during the pandemic, can be very challenging. But during MUNOL, your unity gave me hope. It gave me hope when your chairs told us during our briefing how well your lobbying went and how actively you discussed issues even during your first MUN. It gave me hope when you walked into your committee during gossip time and the gossip box was filled with compliments. It gave me hope when little accidents happened, but no one was bullied or attacked, but everyone was able to laugh about them. I have to admit, at times during MUNOL planning, I was concerned and sometimes even skeptical about MUNOL 2021, but your teamwork made our dream work. I was skeptical because MUNOL 2021 wouldn't be as glorious and international as usual, but it turned out that if you look close at the people around you every day, you can discover the most diverse and interesting features. We are so proud and want to thank you all for your work. We hope, if possible, that you come next year to MUNOL 2022. Hope to see you next year.
Before we wrap up our speech, let me say a few final words about the people I worked closest with throughout the last year, Lena, Raoul, Lara, and Torben. If there was anyone during this year's conference who was always there when something, anything needed to be fixed or get done, there was one person who would never let you down, Lena. Throughout the last two conferences that we organized together, I can say that I got to know a hardworking, kind-hearted, and funny person in you, and I truly couldn't have imagined a better conference manager for MUNOL. I also want to thank Raoul, who always lighted up the room with his funny comments and always made everybody feel comfortable and part of a team. Thank you, Raoul. Lara, without you, MUNOL wouldn't be possible, and besides all the hard work you put into school, you always managed to pay for everything MUNOL needs. Without you, we would be broke. Thank you. Lastly, I want to thank Torben for the amazing last year. You're one of the most politically aware, funny, and kindest people I know. Working with you was a joy, and you truly made my last MUNOL special for me, as I always felt like I had someone to rely upon and who was always willing to step in whenever I needed help. I thank you for being such a great partner and for the good friend I consider you after this conference. Delegates, chairs, staffs, executive, MUN directors, and everyone else who was involved. MUNOL 2021 is about to come to an end. For some of us, this was our last MUNOL conference. But I know now that we as a team leave MUNOL in good hands. Make something out of it. Make it your own. And trust me, it will be worth it. The Secretaries General yield the floor back to the President of the General Assembly.
Thanks a lot, dear Secretaries General Carlo and Tom. All of the hours of your hard work have really paid off. A whole year of making this 1 week happen. A week of hard work and debate. 5 days of problems and solutions. A conference full of emotions and memories. Though MUNOL may be over soon, the spirit lives on, and it is up to you to relive it every year. So goodbye and all the best for the next years. As the President of the General Assembly of 2021, I hereby declare the 24th session of the Model United Nations of Lübeck is officially closed.